So Swope here, looking at another question. We have x squared plus 9 equals 6x. When you see an equation they want you to solve, I mean, if you can solve it, go for it. But I'll be honest, a lot of times, if you see an x squared in your equation, it's going to be a little more complicated. You have to factor, which honestly probably isn't a skill super fresh on the mind. So I want to show you how you might be able to use Desmos to solve a question like this. The problem is with this question, if you go ahead and you graph this, you type this in, you're going to see an error message pops up. And if you ever see this exclamation mark, you're going to want to hover it because a lot of times it'll tell you. But this one, it just says plot in single variable implicit equations is disabled. So if it's disabled, they're basically telling you, hey, you can't do that. But how can we cheat the system? That's what I'm always looking for. One thing you can do with a question like this is if you just graph them separately, like graph the left hand of your equation in one line and then graph the right hand of your equation in the second box. And you'll probably have to zoom out a little bit because sometimes they might kind of cross somewhere further. But it's kind of like here, I'm going to make this full screen. It's kind of like a system of equations. And sometimes it's hard to see, but you're going to see there's only one gray dot. This is where they would cross. So our solution is this 318, but they ask us for just the x. They don't want the whole point, or they don't care about the y value. Your answer would just be 3. You could also kind of, another way to even maybe think about this, I know I'm throwing a lot of ideas at you. I mean, one thing you could do is just start plugging in numbers into both sides, like plug in the same thing to both sides of your equation. See what gives you the same answer. Like when I plug in 3, it gives me the same answer. But if I tried to plug in 2 on both sides, I get different answers. So one way is you could even just start plugging in x values until you get the same thing on both sides of the equal sign. But just a helpful hint. I'll be honest, this one might throw you off when you see it, but at least maybe if you watch this video, you might be like, is that one of those weird ones I saw? So just trying to show you some different things, but have a good one.